Driving wrist drip, slip through the pitfalls. I just wanna chill with the big dogs. House on the hill with a big dog. Make it a ride, I'm taking a lot. So it's about time that I get what I got. And it's about time that I get what I need. And yes, I'm needy, I need to succeed. Know what I need it all. So I don't live with my back to the wall. Don't have to answer whenever you call. Who that on the line, it don't matter, dog. Oh, not at all. Oh, what a gift. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Pinky up, I'm gonna take me a sip.
I need the cash, money signs on every bag. Green in the eye of each lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. Art of success, if I dub it, is that. As dinners in fact guarantee for a hunter. When I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repair and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset me. A boss type beat, lead the starship stream through outer space. I'm a star, baby boo, better watch the race. And you'll see me live today and die trying to just don't break. Except all the bread we make with two hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get a sandwich ready and go hand up baloney. Niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your brain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. Woo with the fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. In a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we in the club. She love to show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we in the club. She love to show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold it right there.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
All right.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect me.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to your favorite podcast on the internet. This is After Further Review, episode 91. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
Your other wonderful co-host, Phil Brown.
And I'm everybody's creative co-host, Malin, with the lightning behind me, kind of scaring the hell out of me. But, I know we'll talk about it later, but ding dong, the witch is dead, people. We can finally release this Champa Bay shit and start calling people Champa Bay. So, let's go.
This is why he questions why he's disliked by certain fans.
Honestly, couldn't care.
That and wishing nukes upon people's hometowns.
Someone's got to fire them. Got all these nukes and no one's using them. Might as well repurpose them.
That's a good way of looking at it. Due to COVID, that is why Shaq is not here in person. So, it's another remote show this week, but
I think it's important to tell everyone that Shaq is not the one that has the vid. I don't think
Everyone's going to assume that I got COVID.
I don't think we clarified that Shaq doesn't have the vid.
No, it's in our
Somebody else
our
has the
household.
Be secluded in my own domain.
He was sick a few weeks ago or whatever, but this time it is in our household.
He tried to pass that buck, Shaq. I mean, we're not going to mention the fact that Shaq looks like he's in some back room of the TSA lobby after he gets pulled out of a lineup. Crawl through the vent, Shaq. Get out of there, man.
Gentlemen, do you want to take our opening shot?
I got mine in a solo cup, so don't judge my process.
TSA won't give him no glass. What are y'all gentlemen sipping on tonight?
So I have a confession here. I'm actually not drinking this week. Not because of the vid.
What did you just drink?
That was lemon juice.
Were you doing that for the effect? Because it looked like it was bourbon going down your throat there with the way you couldn't handle it.
No, it was just very lemony, but I'm taking a week off of drinking, so
oh, good for you.
It is what it is, folks.
Good. You do you, boo.
So
Jackson, how about you, buddy?
Go ahead, Jack.
The rest of the two or three of us don't like ourselves, so we continue to drink on the show.
Oh, I'll be back next week.
I love myself. What are you sipping on?
One of the three of us.
What are you sipping on, Shaq?
I got some Jamaican Claire rum. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head, but that's what I'm.
Right.
That is about 90. That's about 90 proof.
Between like tequila and rum, Shaq is just damn. Well, I busted out the Colonel E.H. Taylor bourbon tonight. A small batch we're sipping on.
It's called Colonel what?
So, Colonel E.H. Taylor. It's an allocated bottle. Like, you won't find this on the shelf. You gotta know somebody to keep it behind the shelf. So, but all right.
Folks.
Well, hope you like your lemon juice.
It's okay.
I don't know why the hell if someone's not drinking for a week, they take a shot of lemon juice. Like, what is?
It's good for your immune system and for your take a shot of something that's beneficial instead of the opposite.
Did Jalen just tell America that he took a shot of lemon juice like it was a COVID shot? Like that was.
Yes, that was my Aaron Rodgers immunization shot.
I was in that case, most of America would agree with that anyway. It's all right.
Jesus Lord. All right, well, We are a sports show. So
Anybody who's seen the show knows that we talk a good 55% about non-sports stuff, but it's all right.
I'm not even gonna bother with the channel promotion this week. Let's just hurry up and get into the damn free agency predictions. Now that we've talked about everything else but sports. So free agency officially starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. And as the NBA goes, a lot of stuff is already kind of starting to fall into place. So we're going to run through some of the more notable free agents that are going to be up or going to be, making a new signing come tomorrow or the near future. So we're going to start off with Jalen Brunson. The Dallas Maverick guard will be a free agent. Now, I will say with him, it sounds like the Knicks are making a move on him. Like they cleared up some cap space to go get him. And that's where it seems like he's going to land. But do you guys think he will shaft them and go somewhere else, or you think he'll be a Knick?
I'd say he's going to become a new Nick. That's where it's going to end up going at. That's where my faith. Not like it's getting better, but that's where he's getting at.
I mean, the Knicks traded Noel and Burks and 2 second-round picks and gave the Pistons $6 million just to shed $19 million in cap space. And not only that, they told Kyrie Irving's camp, man, we don't want you. We're dumping all this cash so that we can sign Brunson. Now, first of all, we'll talk about Kyrie in a minute. If I was Brunson, and I hear the Knicks saying they're going to sign me and I haven't signed nothing yet, I'd pull like a Kevin Hart and I'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like, who wants to play for the Knicks? The Knickerbockers. They ain't been relevant since the early 90s. They ain't done shit. Went to the finals in the late 90s. That was a lockout year. Fuck them. They lost to the Spurs. This is the only thing in my life I agree with Stephen A. Smith on, is that the Knicks are atrocious. Yeah. They are just disgusting. They're terrible. They're always going to be bad. They try to thrive on this mystique that everyone wants to play at the Mecca called the Garden. Yeah, they do want to play. When they're a visiting team and they go to New York is where they want to play, because no one actually wants to play for that franchise. But at the same token, if you're Brunson and you're a mid-level player in the NBA and somebody wants to offer you 4 years, $100 million, I mean, I don't care if you call yourself the New York Knickers. All right, I'll play for you. I don't care if the colors are hot pink, black, and silver. We'll go ball, baby. I'll do it right now. You want me to wear some knickers? Then go play some basketball. Let's go. 4 years, $100 million. That's ridiculous. He's not worth 4 years, $100 million, is he?
Absolutely.
You guys don't think that?
Absolutely.
I mean, come
not.
on, man.
Yeah, well, money talks. So,
for sure. When I saw how the space they were moving to go get him, I was not expecting to see his name at the end of the sentence there. Thought they were making a run at some premier player, but Jalen Brunson was very interesting move.
Now you can get away with trying to sell a fan base that, hey, you know what, we're trying to give Brunson is like a solid 3. Okay? But they're like trying to play this off like he's a fringe 1, really good 2. And I'm like, did everybody fall down the escalator in Madison Square Garden? Did they all fall down and hit their head at the same time? Like, did they get what was the series in the playoffs where he scored like 43 points in a game, and when Luka was hurt? Was that against the Suns? I think it was against Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, or the first.
Yeah,
series.
like he went off and had like 2 40-point games, and I was like, that's cool. You know what? Jimmy Butler has a 40-point game in the playoffs, and ain't no one losing their shit over it. So I don't know. 4 years, $100 million. And you really have to appreciate the fact that I was able to make the Miami Heat dig during this conversation about Brunson, because they're not even in the conversation.
Next up,
Cha-ching.
Zach LaVine. He will also be a free agent come tomorrow. Do you guys think that he? Well, I guess just where you think he'll end up. Shaq, we'll go with you.
Look, this man's gonna be a bull. Let's continue with that trend. I don't see this man really.
He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, no, he ain't going nowhere. He's gonna chill at home with the Bulls. I see the Bulls just sticking with him, paying this man his money, and he ain't gonna go nowhere.
Okay. Listen, any free agent is worth their salt. I have 3 thoughts. 1 place I don't want them to go. 2 places I want them to go. Okay? First, we'll go with the place I don't want them to go. Any of these free agents we're going to talk about, I don't want them to go to Miami. Flat out. Don't go to Miami. I don't want the Heat getting better. Sorry, Shaq, but I hate him. So I don't want LaVine in a Heat jersey, that serial killer fucking City Edition shit. I don't want to see that happen. 2 places I want every free agent to go to. There's 2 cities, okay? And one of them's not even Boston, okay? Because I think we still got a good thing going, Jalen. But there's 2 players in the NBA that I think are just getting shafted when it comes to people putting talent around them. One, man is stubborn, so you might as well give Dame Lillard some help. Send somebody to Portland. Buy somebody. I don't care. Kidnap his family. I don't care what you have to do. Get somebody in Portland. The second team that I would like LaVine to go to would be Dallas. Because apparently Brunson's taken 4 years, $100 million. And he's marginally the second best player on that team. And Luka deserves some help. Give 77 some help. So those 2 players, they deserve more talent on their teams because they can't keep doing this solo shit forever.
Yeah, I hear you. G Money is also here in our live chat. Shout out to G Money. He agrees with you. Says the Mavs should make a run at LaVine. I feel like he'll end up staying in Chicago with Shaq, but I would like to see him go to Dallas because it is weird that Brunson was technically, I guess you could say he was the second best player there, which is so weird. So I mean, if Zach LaVine went there, my God, talk about an upgrade. Or Portland, yeah, that'd be cool too. But it seems like he'd be a really good fit in Dallas. So think he'll stay in Chicago, but I would love to see him go to the Mavs. Next up, I think I spelled his name wrong, but DeAndre Ayton.
You did.
Yes, I put Aston like Aston Martin. DeAndre Ayton will also be possibly up for grabs here. This is a very interesting one to me because it seemed like he was quite a crucial part to that finals team 2 years ago. And now here we are. Is he even going to be coming back? Shaq, what do you think about DeAndre Ayton?
I feel like he's gonna be a Knicks purely because I feel like he'll be, since they're trying to add and become better and use, I feel like he's still a crucial part. He'd be a crucial part of that team. Why not keep those parts there? I feel like that's just my opinion.
You said you think he's going to New York? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I would rather the Knicks sign Ayton than Brunson.
Agreed.
And here's the reason. And I think that whatever DeAndre Ayton does leaves more questions about the team he leaves versus the team he goes to, as far as like how productive he's going to be. Because Phoenix was 64-18. Booker and Chris Paul missed a considerable amount of time last year, and they were still number 1 in the West. And Ayton is one of those players where he might not be the best player on the team, but he's a lot like Smart in Boston, where he's kind of the heart and soul of that team. He's where they get the toughness, kind of like Draymond Green in Golden State, where they're not the best, they're a very good role player, but they're the ones that bring the fire. They're the ones that bring the toughness and the grit, and they bring the personality and intensity on the floor every single night. And so I think it would leave a lot more question marks on what does Phoenix do. Like, did Phoenix only have a 2-year window? Was that it? With
Right.
Booker, one of the best players in the NBA, was that it? Like, if he leaves, who does Phoenix replace him with?
Yeah, it's like, can they afford to let him walk? Because big men in the NBA, like we were addressing this last week with our draft that we did, uh, they're not easy to come around. I know that DeAndre Ayton is not, one of the premier centers, but he's one of the better ones without a doubt. So I know that they have their doubts about him, and I can see why. But if I was in their shoes, I would just pay him because their window not very big, not very big at all, and hell, they could have already have missed it just as is right now. So I would just pay him. But so I think
And
he
this
comes
really
back.
comes down to an ownership group on whether or not you really want to win or whether you just want to make money.
Yep.
Because we both know that if DeAndre Ayton was playing on Dallas' squad right now, they'd be paying him money.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban would pay him in a heartbeat. If he was playing for the Clippers right now, Clippers would pay him in a heartbeat. But this is an opportunity for the ownership of the Suns to show their fan base that we're actually serious about winning and keeping a horde of people together. Golden State did it, and they're better off for it. Sometimes you have to overpay for people to keep a team together, not just a collection of people. And this Phoenix team shows that they can win a lot of games. They went to a finals, and they were number one in the West last year, like I said, at 64-18. So they obviously, this group knows how to win. I would do whatever I had to do to keep them together. But if he leaves, he's probably, Shaq said, going to be wearing some knickers.
Next up, so next two much bigger names here. Bradley Beal finally has opted out of his player option in Washington. So he should be moving and going elsewhere for the first time in his career, which is like, geez, that's crazy. At some point, I just felt like he was never, ever going to leave Washington. But here we are. Bradley Beal, where do you guys think he will end up? His name is always in trade talks, free agency talks every single year.
Shaq.
I feel like this one was a harder one for me of trying to decide of where this man might end up, and I feel like, which is just regularly stupid to think of, it comes down to another money situation. I feel like just looking for whichever team to go pay him out the most amount of money. So I feel like it's just whichever team's gonna be more desperate in that time of need. So this one I didn't really quite have a team for. I just feel like whichever team comes down towards the end of the deadline and just really needs a player and just has the money and cap space to do it is just going to fork over the money and be like, we're going to do trade this time frame.
I mean, I don't think this one is necessarily about money. If it was about money, he'd stay for the $36 million that he was going to get paid. Now, I don't think he's going to the Lakers because apparently the Lakers can only afford $6 million. Right. And I don't care how bad you hate somebody, you don't hate them to the tune of $30 million. So if he, you're not going to go from 36 million to 6 million. But again, like I said, send this man to Portland or Dallas, one of the two. I want him in one of those two teams. One, I want him out of the East. That'd be cool. If he ends up in Brooklyn, I'll just stomp on my big toe. Or Milwaukee, don't want that to happen. Not really worried about any other team in the East. Sorry, Shaq. But no, I would like Dame needs help. I'm never gonna stop saying this, and I'm not even a Blazers fan, but I'm a Dame fan. Dame needs help. Get that man a score, please, for the love of God. Let that happen. That would be awesome. And we were talking about it like 3 months ago that it should happen on this show.
Yeah. Apparently, the Blazers, like two of their biggest targets this summer are going to be him and Zach LaVine. I'm still sticking with Levine better fit in Dallas, and then Bradley Beal probably better fit alongside Dame. That's what I would like to see, because again, like we have not really got to see Dame with any real help. Like CJ McCollum is the next best player he's pretty much had his entire career, which is a damn shame. So would love to see him get Bradley Beal. Lakers are not getting him. Laker Nation, please shut up. Enjoy Russell Westbrook and that fat contract you're about to pay him. So
And
Bradley Beal.
classy.
Bradley Beal. It is a shame that his body does seem to be a bit more broken down at this point in his career. I don't know why people are still so hyped on him, because he has been pretty consistently hurt these past couple of years. So I don't really know how much wherever he lands is going to get out of him. But I mean, he'd still be a big help for Dame.
I did hear on Fox Sports about a dark horse team that I don't want him to sign with, but could possibly happen. Because like you just said, his value's gone down a little bit over the last couple of years. The Clippers, a name is being floated out that he might reunite John Wall. And we'll talk about John Wall in a little bit. But the Clippers might be a possible destination. If that happens, and I have to hear about how great everyone thinks that team's going to be, only to get bounced out in the second round. God help us.
Boy, would that be interesting. Last but not least is James Harden, Shaq's favorite guard in the NBA. Shaq, where is James Harden landing now that he's opted out of his deal with the Sixers?
I still think that they might rework some sort of deal with the 76ers, to be honest with you. And he still just might end up being on this team. He might just do one of those where I don't know, but I don't see him leaving. It might be just like changing of the money situation, maybe trying to get a better team around him, but I don't see him leaving again, going to another third team for 2 seasons going on. It's not like he's the most wanted player right now in the league, so I still see him staying with the 76ers, just reworking a new deal.
Yeah, all intents and purposes kind of point to him re-signing with Philly on a long-term deal. Now, I don't know what Philly saw last year that nobody else saw outside of like the first 5 games he played for Philly. So I don't know why they would necessarily want to sign him to a long-term deal. But I guess what they're doing is he turned down the $47 million so they can be a player in free agency. So they're going to go after some of these guys that we were talking about, go after some of these mid-level people. But I think what Harden is going after, and this it might actually be a bit of a smart play, is that he turned down $47 million. Maybe he gets like 4 years, $150 million, something like that, right? It's going to be less than 47 a year. But it's guaranteed money no matter what. And I think Harden is at the point in his career where he's not at a place where he can necessarily bet on himself for a year and then try to be a free agent and get big money. This is probably the last chance that he has to get like a multi-year, really good deal of at least like $30-40 million a year, possibly. So probably going to up in Philly. I just kind of wonder, like, what the hell are they thinking? Like, why would Philly want to re-sign him? Like, the Lakers and the Nets were praying that their stars turned down their big contracts and didn't opt in. Here's Harden not opting in, and Philly's like, fuck it, man, we'll take you back. Come on, baby, we'll pay you more money. So it just seems a little weird to me. I don't understand their thinking. I understand Harden's thinking. I just don't understand the team's thinking.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. I when I first saw that, I was just shocked, and then you guys kind of explained it a bit more, and I'm like, okay, that would make sense on his part to keep his options open long term, because yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking by trying to just give him the lump sum up front. So I mean, hey, we'll see what they do come tomorrow. James Harden wise, I can't see any other team that would be interested in him at the cost that he comes with, at least at this point in his career. So seems like something else is going to get reworked and he'll end up staying there.
You know what James Harden needs to do? He needs to get rid of the dreads and bring the faux hawk back. When he had that faux hawk, he was balling, winning MVPs. Got dreads, got fat, nothing. So change up the hair, my man. Do it. Don't shave the beard though; that would be sacrilegious. Ain't nobody
Yeah,
ever
don't
wants to
do
see your
that.
chin.
Don't do that.
Nobody wants to see the chin. He probably doesn't even have a jaw. Someone that has a beard that big doesn't even have a jaw. Glad Benjamin Button underneath that beard.
Benjamin Button.
All right, folks. On that, let's get into the news for the week.
Today's top stories and breaking news.
All right, news for the week. We're sticking with the free agency, kind of staying in the same topic almost. But like Mainland mentioned just a second ago, Kyrie did opt into his $36.5 million option with the Nets. So he should be back, even though people are still saying that there's a loophole left open that he could still force a trade somewhere else. But it sounds like he will be in net come next year, for at least for one more year. So, surprise to you guys that Kyrie won't be ending up somewhere else?
Not at all. And New York has dealt with his BS for this long, and he will stay there because he's probably thinking, man, I know no other teams will let me do what I do, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue going back to New York.
I was really waiting for that Russell Westbrook Kyrie trade just to finally come through, and then the reunion finally happens on both coasts, but it didn't. It did not. Go ahead, Malin.
Yeah, the only reason is that Kevin Durant doesn't want to play with Westbrook. LeBron James might want to play with Kyrie, but Westbrook's like, listen, I will implode this whole franchise if you bring Westbrook on this squad. He's like, I left him years ago. I don't want to reunite with that ex. I was surprised in the stance that Kyrie is like the first big name person in the NBA that has said they wanted out, didn't get out. I think that ownership did a good job of standing firm, not just trading him somewhere. But in the same token, they told him, like, listen, man, go find a suitor. Find somebody. And I think it was probably pretty humbling for him that nobody wanted his services. I mean, the reports were that the Lakers were the only ones that were interested in. And how humbling does it have to be? The only team that wants you, their biggest star, is the player that you ran away from in Cleveland to go to Boston. Now, money-wise, $36 million or $6 million, because apparently he could have opted out, and the Lakers at best could only give him a $6 million mid-level exemption, right? Even for someone that believes the Earth is flat, that's not a hard decision. 36 million or 6 million. I'll take the 36 million. So, I mean, it was a little bit surprising that he didn't get his way just because every NBA star that wants to leave gets their way. I mean, shit, Harden did it twice in 2 years. And look at him. So, I mean, I kind of expected him to get moved just because that's what happens in the NBA.
Yeah.
But good on the ownership for staying tough, and good on the rest of the NBA. Be like, nah, man, you're kind of fucking nuts. So we don't want your baggage right now. So take their money.
G Money says no other team wants Kyrie, Flat Earth, Irving. There's that too.
Yeah, damn. G Money and I are on the same wavelength. I love it.
Speaking of the Lakers, their best player opts into his $47 million option Westbrook will be back, baby. He said, I will gladly take that check. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you very much. Russ back in Los Angeles for at least one more year. Shaq, what do you think about this?
I'm happy that I see other companies besides my company who likes throwing away money, so it's all right. The fact that the Lakers community just has money to throw away for no reason at all to watch this man be useless. Why do y'all think that Westbrook is worth anywhere near this money that they're paying him?
No, he's not at all. And that's what I love about this. That's what I love about this is that he knows that
Yeah.
nobody in LA wants him. He knows it. But if you've ever seen this man walking through the tunnel to go to the locker room and you've seen the way he dressed, he doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks about him. So he does whatever the fuck he wants when the fuck he wants to do it. And that's why he throws up all them bricks. He just all the time. So yeah, like why would you
they'll
not
pay him.
be like, yeah, I'll be like, you don't want me to work here, but if I say yes, you have to pay me $47 million.
Right.
I can still torpedo your franchise. Yes, 100%.
That's be the
Take the
greatest
money.
feeling in the world, knowing that these motherfuckers hate you with a passion, but still need you at the same time.
Like,
Just sitting in that locker room like, you don't say me, not a damn place. Then back to my car, then back here.
the moment that Rob Pelinka got off the phone with Russell Westbrook and he said, "Yep, I'm taking the $47 million," Rob Pelinka right there in the office, some coke out on the table and hit a line. He's like, "Fuck, this is going to be a long year. This is going to be a long year." Not only did we not get crazy ass Kyrie, but now we have to pay Russell Westbrook $47 million to dress stupid and brick shots. Now we have no shot at getting any good free agents. So yeah, that's on them. That's a dinger.
It's an issue when the most reliable player and the most sturdy player is still LeBron. Why is that like a thing?
I mean, you say reliable, but he did kind of tap out at the end of the year. He's like, I'm not.
I
doing
would
this
too.
shit.
I would too.
He like feigned an ankle injury or something.
If you were working with Westbrook and AD, I would absolutely fake injury. My tooth hurts. I'm sitting out.
Westbrook. This is such a Westbrook thing.
Oh my god!
Like
LeBron James is just probably losing his mind right now. Like, god damn it, that's the worst thing. That's the worst decision that LeBron James ever made in his career.
Yep.
Is not going to Miami, and playing for the Heat because everybody hates the Heat. But the fact that he said, "Hey, bring in Westbrook," that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's bring in Westbrook. Jesus, what a shit show.
The fact that he knows nobody else in the NBA, nobody else on the planet will pay me $47 million to play for them.
Or
this
$47.
year.
Or $47.
Or $47. Either one. Nobody will pay me, but they have to as long as I say yes. So you know what? Fuck you. Yes.
If Kyrie was a free agent, and let's say I'm in like Minnesota or something like that, and I'm the GM, I'd be Googling, what do brick pavers make an hourly wage? $30 an hour? I'll pay you $30 an hour. You doing the same ass job. I'm just giving you a bigger platform to do it. So that would be. I don't know that I'd get him to sign. I don't know if that's a good speech, but.
Well, Russ, enjoy your last big payday. It's a hell of a deal that you got here, but enjoy it while it's still here.
And keep in mind, he's going to make next year probably about $46 million more than I will in my entire life. So that's cool. Makes me feel good about myself.
For a bricklayer.
So
it sounds like you're going to take 2 shots during the next after halftime.
You put it that bad. You're like, somebody is so bad at their job publicly, and I'm good at my job privately, and yet this man is going to make this much money. This is ridiculous.
That's just yeah, it's the world we live in.
God bless it.
The Rockets are going to buy out John Wall, and he is set to sign with the Clippers come tomorrow. We just talked about, I think he was my what's up with that last week, because he was going to get this big payday from Houston, but they basically said, let's work something out here so that everybody's happy here, because clearly the whole Houston thing was just not a fit, kind of a waste to keep him there, so he is going to LA. And surprisingly, from what I've seen, Clipper fans are actually excited to have him there. What do you guys think about John Wall and the second team in LA?
I mean, why wouldn't they be excited about it? I mean, they're used to having former All-Stars in the NBA be on their roster that don't play. No, what
Yes, we got another one.
Yes,
got him.
I'm gonna get the trading card, but I'll never actually be able to see him play.
Finessed him.
He did the best thing for him. He opted into the contract. Then the Rockets were like, "Fuck! All right, we really don't want you. But what do we have to do? Let's do the buyout." So he only is giving back $6 million,
right?
Of I think the $38 million that he was going to get next year, which is great for him. That's awesome. He gets to go to the Clippers, which everyone always talks about the Clippers as being good. I don't buy it. Yeah, Paul George, he's pretty good. For the last 5 minutes, I've been brain farting on the other guy's name because I hadn't even seen him play for a year and a half. God damn it, Kawhi Leonard. I was trying to talk until it came to me. It wasn't happening. So. I was like, I've literally run out of words, and I still don't know this motherfucker's name.
It's been that long.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has not been relevant in the NBA since he did that awkward ass laugh after he won a title, like in Toronto. So I mean, he's literally like a soft tissue injury away from missing 40 games every single year. So I just. Why not be excited? That's what you do. Sign people to big money and they don't play. Why not?
Cool. I mean, I would be excited to sign a previously good player to the best team in LA. That's all I'm saying. This is something to be hyped up about. It's still going to be better than the Lakers come next season, even with half your all-star roster sitting on the bench. So what more do you want out of the process?
I don't know. I do think that's going to be debatable. Paul George was definitely slowing down at the end of last year, not playing his best ball.
And Russell Westbrook never sped up. So,
well, no, Russell Westbrook was on full go Brit paving mode like the whole year. He was.
AD just watched.
He was the healthiest, most reliable player on the Lakers.
He was throughout the whole NBA, really.
I think that. I literally think that Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard have like this text message group chat going. And they're like, "Hey, I bet you I can miss more games than you do next year." The other one's like, "Bet, bitch, I can do it more than you."
I don't know if I can say this, Dylan, but I firmly believe those two. Each team has a cuck of their team that just sits on a bench and watches them get fucked all season long. And purely enjoys it.
Literally, like you talk about
the cuts of the team.
When Anthony Davis went to the Lakers and Kawhi Leonard went to the Clippers, that was like the biggest thing to happen in the NBA in years, outside of LeBron James' dumbass decision. And they've barely played. Now the Lakers got a bubble chip out of it. They did get a chip. They got one. But yeah, like, come on. Like, how many years has it been since Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis went to LA and they've played like 40 games combined?
Right.
Ridiculous. They're still making more money than me, and I go to work every day. God damn it. I'm salty about
5
this
days a
shit.
week is there.
Why,
And then
why did I have to be born 6 foot, 800 nothing pounds, jump shot?
throw John Wall into the mix? You still look at about 45 games, about $150 million between the three of them.
Listen, I tell you right now, the Lakers and the Clippers are the two teams going into the owners' meeting. We're like, short the season, bitch.
I know.
We don't need to play 80 games. Let's go down to 40.
They're like, hey, you see NFL, they have 17 games.
They'll be like, they'll be like, listen, the NFL's got a really good model, 17.
And 80 will show up. 80 will show up for 4 of them.
Kyrie wouldn't even show up, or not Kyrie, but Kawhi Leonard wouldn't even show up. Well,
Be there
no,
for
Kyrie
preseason.
wouldn't either. None of them would
Be there
show
for
up.
preseason. Be there
Right.
for preseason. Because y'all know it's over.
Kyrie would be out there looking for the end of the flat Earth, and Kawhi Leonard would be like, "Dude, I got this hangnail. This is a bitch. I can't go tonight."
I can't move. I'm sorry. Bedridden.
You guys know what? You guys want to know what Kyrie needs to do with this $36 million that he opted into? He needs to buy a ticket on SpaceX, Jeff Bezos, or Elon Musk's little space things, and shoot his ass up to space just for once and for all, to prove that his dumb ass that the Earth isn't flat.
And never come back.
That's what we do. And goddamn, Shaq.
Like, just blasted a little further, and he's gone.
Into the sun.
Hey, did you, Jalen, did you hear what Elon Musk came out and said?
I did not.
He said that he's no longer planning to go to Mars. You want to know what his destination is now?
Where?
He wants to land a craft on Shaq's head.
All right.
Shaq caught on before Jalen did.
Shaq smelled it coming from a mile away.
I heard the setup. The moment he said no one was going to Mars, like, I see where y'all going. It's I'm aware enough that there's always one foreign joke before halftime, and I felt like this would be it.
That was good, though. That might have been my best.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Good luck, Elon.
Shaq's forehead or bust, baby.
All right.
Got to get Biden out here at a press conference and sell us on it in 10 years.
Space Initiative. Where we're all right, that's where we're. Back to the NBA. Will Hardy agrees to a 5-year deal with the Utah Jazz to become their new head coach. He was a assistant coach on the Celtics coaching staff. Apparently, I mean, I guess this only makes sense with Ainge being involved with the Jazz now, that he was scouting a few of the Celtics assistant coaches, because there was another, Joe Mazzulla was another assistant coach that was apparently interviewed for the job. But they went with Will Hardy, pretty young guy, and he'll be there for 5 years in Utah. So was this a surprise to you guys that they went with a lesser known younger guy in Utah?
I mean, he's going to get paid for 5 years. I don't know if he's actually going to be coaching for 5 years.
Right.
But I thought the same thing as you, is that I thought that, this is obvious because, the Danny Ainge connection with the Celtics, whatever. But he was only assistant for the Celtics for 1 year.
Yeah.
He actually, started with San Antonio, videoing shit. I don't know what a videographer does in the NBA, but they probably make more money than me. So salty about that. And then he ended up being an assistant coach for the summer league. But he's been in the NBA for a while, going up the ranks. But to be a 34-year-old head coach,
yeah,
in the NBA. That's kind of crazy. I think Utah is a great place for someone to become the head coach if you're that young. Because listen, you could be the next Jerry Sloan. Ain't no one gonna fire you. You're gonna have to quit if you're gonna leave Utah. Um, so you could be there for 30 years and be mediocre and never win anything. They don't care. So yeah, good for him. For him.
Shout out to Nestor in the chat. He says Heat, third best team. He's sticking to his guns.
Okay, but Nestor's pretty skinny. I don't know what guns we talking about. Yeah. I can say that now because I know who Nestor is. I know him. He's also a Dolphin fan, so he doesn't make good life choices. Third best team.
Yep.
Who goes out and says we're the third best team in anything? Like who brags about that? What is that to we're not even as Celtics fans bragging about being the second best team. I'm pissed off that we were the second best team last year.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, who's like, you know what? We're the third best. Woo.
All right, let's get out of the NBA here for the news and get into the one piece of NFL news here, and that is Baker Mayfield in a press interview basically was talking about the relationship or the status of the relationship between himself and the Browns organization, and he's saying that the mutual decision on both sides is to move on. Browns still kind of in limbo with the quarterback situation right now. Baker Mayfield's still a part of the roster, but I mean, it sounded like both sides are in agreement that they, want to part ways. So, Malin, I'll go to you first on this one. What are your thoughts on the current status of the Baker Mayfield saga?
And the only reason why you're going to me is because you know about the links of them possibly trading him to the Seahawks. Some shit.
Possibly.
Possibly. People have been saying it's imminent for months. I had a little moment with you guys on the group chat where I was getting pissed off because they said an agreement was going to come. I was like, God damn it, I don't want this. I don't want Shaq have something to talk shit about me with. But, I mean, okay, first of all, there's no way he can stay with the Browns. It's like, everybody knows this. Like, I don't know why he needed to say it. For everybody to finally be like, oh yeah, he's never going to play for the Browns again. No, he was never going to play for the Browns again the moment they got Deshaun Watson. Now, Deshaun Watson is hearing what the NFL is going into a third day tomorrow. It sounds like the NFL is going after a 1-year suspension. And the NFLPA is trying to back that down a little bit. So you're looking at Jacoby Brissett. How dumb does that make the fucking Browns look? They're about to pay $230 million to somebody that by the time he plays quarterback for them, will have not played down in 2 years. You're going to go with Jacoby Brissett, your quarterback. I mean, I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield fan, but I think I'd rather take Baker Mayfield over Jacoby Brissett. But I just don't know what they're going to do with Baker Mayfield because the Browns are stuck not wanting to pay a lot of this $19 million contract, and no one wants to take him with that $19 million contract. So, kind of staring down the barrel at the OK Corral there, and I don't know what's going to happen. I really do not want to be in the situation where I'm in Seattle, week 3, in Lumen Field, the 124 section, rooting on my Seahawks. I have to root for Baker Mayfield. I don't want to see that happen. That'll piss me off. I'm not paying that type of money to fly home and paying that much money for that ticket. I have to root for Baker Mayfield. But it could happen, and I'm scared. I'm terrified.
My few comments to this is, look, honestly, this might be Baker's last time seeing the Browns field, and probably still Deshaun Watson's last time seeing the Browns field for a hot while too. So that's one thing they have in common. So we all take that. I I still find it comical to a degree, no insult mail in, if this man ends up living in the Seahawks stadium. So we can see wonderful commercials about Baker Mayfield in y'all stadium.
I just want to remind you, you have Mitchell Trubisky on your roster right now.
That's just still a better
It's not
condition, in
much
my
better.
opinion, than Baker Mayfield. But it
It's
is
not much
better.
better.
It'd be better.
Not much better. A little bit better. You got a little Piglet Pickett. He could be good. God damn it. See, this is what I'm talking about, Jalen. I want to deal with this shit for 17 weeks.
17 weeks of just
I want
clowning
to deal
because
with
y'all
this
decided to pick
17
up.
weeks, man. And Seattle's out here, like, the reports are that if Seattle trades for him, they want to lock him up for a multi-year deal. I'm like, God damn it. Son of a bitch.
Just go
Now,
all
the
in.
only thing... the only thing that I will say about this, because I've been talking to G Money about this, this is the only thing that would make sense about Baker Mayfield to Seattle. Is that Seattle wants to run the ball, right? Baker Mayfield was healthy, and the Browns had Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and they were a run-first offense. They went 11-5. And they went deep into the playoffs, and he wasn't hurt. Okay, he was actually a serviceable quarterback. You have to have a really good defense on the back end, and I don't think that Seattle has defense that Cleveland had a couple years ago when they made that deep run. But Seattle has two choices, because obviously, if they're still entertaining this Baker Mayfield thing, they're not liking what they're seeing out of Drew Lock. Nobody really wants Geno Smith being your starter. So they're either going to go through with Geno Smith for 1 year and Drew Lock, and then they're going to use both of their first-round picks, get into the top 5 or the top 6 or whatever, and get a quarterback, a rookie quarterback. Okay? Or they're going to trade for someone like a Baker Mayfield, lock him up for $25 million a year, which is a far cry from the $50 million a year that quarterbacks are going to be getting. And then they'll be able to use their 2 first-round picks to bolster the team up even more. And they'll have a serviceable quarterback. So he's not great, but he's not the worst. He just can't stay healthy. I just don't. I'd rather the idea of the chance of getting a quarterback that could be a franchise quarterback for 10 to 12 years is better to me than just going this other route with somebody like a Baker Mayfield or something like that. That makes sense. I don't think it would necessarily be the worst thing ever. I just think long term, I want that franchise quarterback again.
Yeah, G Money says if Seattle trades for Mayfield, John and Pete have to think that not only is he the best quarterback, not just on the team now, but in next year's draft too. Well said.
It wouldn't cost you 2 first-round picks to get him.
Yeah. Moving on to the last bit of news here. Bit of hockey news.
Yes.
The Avalanche win the Stanley Cup over the Lightning.
Woo.
Let's get a nice little golf clap for Colorado there.
Tampa Bay, way to lose.
Hold on,
Way to
man. There
lose.
ain't no golf clap about it. We're excited.
I'm
Our
happy to see
dreams
Lightning
are
fans
fulfilled.
upset.
Yes.
Yes, man. I looked on lids today, and the Lightning and the Bucks now we're selling hats with the words Champa Bay instead of Champa Bay, because that's obviously retired. Because you actually have to win championships to be called Champa Bay. So ding dong. Like I said, the witch is dead. Hallelujah, glory, the heavens. It's great, wonderful. Excited.
Amen.
I'm happy,
Gotta love it.
as it should be. Back to the normal misery of Tampa, so it's all right.
Right. Yeah, with that, we will take a break. When we come back, we will have What's Up With That and little game that we're gonna play called Who's That Quarterback? So we'll be back in about 7.5 minutes.
Wait.
Feel it with the fears in my head. Can't get it out of my mind. I hear what never was said. I feel the unknown with the fears in my head. They attach, they latch. I got a brand new batch. They don't lack, that's facts. No slack. Pimp tight, attached from the inside. They'll fuck up any kind of night. They'll fuck up any kind of vibe. Playing tricks with your mind. I cannot get it over.
I will show. How about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair. fair
On
enough.
the whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Montez, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Sweet. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. Down to 3 and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah, pretty freaking plain.
I'm chucking this shit into Del Mabry. By the way,
How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock? This is emotional. Boy, you better fight the shit out of this, Gino. Oh, what do you mean, wide left? There was... No, he thought we were friends. I better throw that shit up. We ain't done yet. Come on. Get off the bar.
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Did you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
8 fans fell out of the stands as Jalen Hurts is walking into the tunnel. I will just preface this by saying all those people were just fine, no serious injuries. They were all right, but goddamn, that was funny to watch.
Fortunately, knowing how the Eagles fans are built, the last thing you should do is lean their body weight against anything.
First of all, you got to be a real diehard Eagles fan to be reaching out that far to get a high five from Jalen Hurts. Like I said, is only averaging 188 yards passing a game. Okay, I'm just saying.
Live chat here, TW1. I swear, y'all come out of fucking potholes like cockroaches. Steady Eagles haters. We aren't going to win the Super Bowl, but we might win the wild card.
What does
maybe.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
TW won 50% of teams have a shot at winning the wild card.
Exactly. I swear to God, these Eagles fans just really be riding whatever wave they can catch. They're gonna catch a rip off a puddle that would rhyme it.
I love how we're not even talking about the Eagles right now.
Yes,
Someone
exactly. Where the fuck you even find this, bro?
He's like, we're talking about the other team in Pennsylvania, people.
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, player.
Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my
He didn't
God.
even no.
Currently.
He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
No.
Just drink.
Oh, okay.
Which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No. Okay, no. It's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it.
Really?
Yes.
Drink. You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL.
NFL, my guy. NFL.
Oh. Oakland Raiders.
It was a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears. Okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds. What was
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about
What
it.
they got to do with me?
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback at Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Why are you asking me this? Oh my God. Jason Campbell.
No.
Hell no. How was he the first black quarterback?
Nigga, he's black and he ain't that.
He was the first black quarterback on Washington football team. Or
Doug Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of the show, give him a medal honor for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so.
Not just still playing, but had the most.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's it, AFR Sports. Now back to the show with your hosts Jalen, Shaquille, and Malin.
Welcome back, folks. The second half of your favorite show on the internet. We are coming right back in the swing of things. Hope you had a good break. Took a piss, got a refill. I have my next lemon shot and a nice ice cold glass of water. Cheers, gentlemen.
Fun times.
All right. So we're going to come right back at you with what's up with that. This is where we air out our grievances in the world of sports for the past week. Malin, you have a very interesting one apparently, so let's hear it.
Yeah. So, my what's up with that? What is up with dumbass people coming onto social media and acting like they know things about sports and trying me like I don't know things about sports and just being a fucktard about my entire life? It's irritating. I had this gentleman, someone that I'm a friend with, just the latest example, where he posted this picture of NFL shop selling a Baker Mayfield jersey with the number 6 on it, right? And I said, well, that has to be fake because Diggs, who's our safety, would never give up his number. He just got it a year ago. So If Baker Mayfield ever came to the Seahawks, he'd have to pick a different number. And this guy commented, name is Chuck Leggins. Chuck
Put names
Leggins. Guess what? You're a bitch. Puts out there. Offense and defense, homie. Called me homie. I was like, okay.
Wait.
Sure.
He was saying as if there'd be 2 number 6s.
There could be, yeah, he was saying that there could be 2 number 6s on the same NFL roster like in college. So I wrote back, said NFL, homie. Then this guy went out there and said, one plays on offense, one plays on defense. They would never be on the field at the same time, so it's totally fine for them to have the right number. To myself, well, I hope you never have kids, because you're obviously an idiot. But I wrote back and said, maybe you should learn something about NFL rules before you comment on social media and make yourself look like an idiot. No, maybe stupid. I think I said stupid. And then he wrote back and said that no need to be a dick, that if you think I'm wrong, provide proof. I wrote back and said, why don't you use Google? You're the one saying that they can. So this guy comes up with this random article. It says that no 2 players in the NFL have the same number, share the same number on the field at the same time. I was like, yeah, they can't. Proved my point. And he wrote back and said, read it again, dipshit. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing now. So I went into the NFL handbook, posted on there. The NFL does not allow duplicate numbers of any kind during the regular season. They only allow it during the preseason when you have inflated rosters. And then he wrote back, see, was it that hard to provide proof? Listen here, you dumb motherfucker, Greg. You, like 88% of everybody else that I ever encounter on social media, don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to sports. So stop coming at me with this dumbass shit, thinking that you're smart, putting it out there on blast for the whole world to see until you look stupid and then you delete it, because that's what he did. But I still know who you are, Greg. So you can kick rocks. So yeah, so these people that are keyboard warriors on social media, they talk like they know what sports is, they really don't. What's up with that? Those dumbasses. Pisses me off.
I hear that 1000%. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I guess I do know what it is. It's the keyboard warrior syndrome. It knows no limits, no bounds. It spreads to every single area of the internet. Sports is no different, unfortunately, but it's extremely annoying in sports because a lot of sports is pretty clear on what can go and what can't. So yeah, that's just some stupid shit. At the end of the day.
And that was another thing that I really threw him for a loop was I said, beyond just the NFL rulebook, name for me a time that 2 NFL players on the same team have had the same number in the history of forever.
Exactly.
They couldn't do it. And the moment that I started talking about this, 2 of you started laughing like, this motherfucker thought that people could have the same number in the NFL. I really, like, it took you 2 seconds to know how stupid this guy was. But he went on for like 15 comments at me like I was the idiot.
That's something that a little kid who
happening
doesn't know much about the NFL would think of. Like, hey, why don't we just share the same number? And it's like, sorry, Timmy, it doesn't work that way. Only one person can have one number. Oh, okay.
Except this is a grown-ass man who's 46, works at a gas station, Puyallup, Washington. I know this because I looked at his Facebook profile. So if anybody is going into a 7-Eleven in Puyallup, Washington to get gas, and you give this man $40 for gas for 5 gallons of gas, he's probably not going to be able to ring it in correctly, because he's a fucking idiot. So, Greg.
Well, that's I like that. What's up with that a lot. I'll go next for this. So my what's up with that, taking it back to basketball here. This beef that's going on between Draymond Green and then Kendrick Perkins / Skip Bayless kind of in the mix as well. So you guys know Draymond has his own podcast that has really been in the headlines these past couple months or so. But yeah, he has kind of gone after taking shots at some of the more traditional media figures like Kendrick Perkins, who's on ESPN, and then Skip Bayless on FS1. And kind of said like the new media, which is, him and people like JJ Redick, Pat McAfee, former players that are now have their own platforms and speaking for themselves, like they're taking over in place of Fox, ESPN, CBS, so on and so forth. But in the midst of saying that, he's also kind of taking more direct shots at like Kendrick Perkins, saying like he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he gets on TV, and now all of a sudden, he called him a bunch of different names that we don't necessarily have to go into here, but Kendrick Perkins did respond in a very colorful way and went off on him. Skip Bayless also responded to him. I don't think it was on video, though. I think it was only on Twitter. Yeah, the whole situation is just strange to me. I can't stand Draymond Green. The only kind of thing I will give Draymond, like what I can understand with him, is Kendrick Perkins. One of the reasons he has an issue with him is that on a podcast, Kendrick Perkins basically freely admitted that he wished LeBron James got hurt during a playoff game when Perkins was a Celtic, and he just put that out there for whatever reason for people to hear that, which is, that's messed up. You should never be wishing that upon anybody. And you're a player who's going to be competing against him directly. So I'll give him that. That was fucked up. But I don't know. A lot of what Draymond Green is saying to me is just kind of dumb. Like this whole out with the old, in with the new. It's kind of like, I don't know, Draymond, hold your horses, especially when the podcast network that you're on is from who? Colin Cowherd, who is a traditional older member of the media. Like, you're careful what you're talking about here, because at the end of the day, you are part of a bigger network. You aren't exactly on your own. So, Draymond Green, once again, donkey of the day.
I don't like Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith. Really, the only two that I don't like. I wish we could go back, the days of, like the Stuart Scotts. Listen, to me, two of the best people on media are on ESPN right now with Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon, who were beat writers for newspapers before they ever were on ESPN, and they do it right. And they give facts, they give opinions, but don't bloviate like I kind of feel like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless do a lot. The more Stephen A. yells, less I think he has anything to say. And so that's kind of funny. And Skip Bayless, like, get rid of your love affair with the Cowboys and Tom Brady. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, Tom Brady is not going to adopt you. You're not going to be his child. Get over the dream. And let's not forget the fact that Kendrick Perkins is a former player.
Right.
I mean, come on. So yeah, I don't know. Draymond Green's funny. He's always got to pick a fight with somebody.
I do not like Draymond Green, so I just assume anything he says is stupid anyway. So I disqualify anything that man says as fact or anything other than false.
The funny thing is, though, it kind of ties into like what Malin was saying, where you have these keyboard warriors of a bunch of people who don't know what the hell they're talking about and just kind of agree with him, like, yeah, like out with the old, in with the new. He has his own platform, like this is the new way of doing things, and it's like, yes, that is kind of where things are moving to, but don't. To me, Draymond Green is just a bad example of that specifically because of where his podcast is housed at.
Well, and Draymond Green is one of those types of people that thinks that if you've never been a player, you can never comment on it.
Yes, that too.
And that's a dangerous thing. Because if you put that into all walks of life, right? Like you are supposed to challenge the status quo on anything. If you're not allowed to talk about anything that you've never done, then there's only a few people alive today that can criticize the president on things that he does in the Oval Office.
Right.
Because there's only a few living presidents or past presidents that aren't in the Oval Office today, which means that anybody in the media, nobody can question them on anything they do. You can have experts on any field that have not actually done the work because they're intelligent enough to study it and cover it for decades. And they have a voice, and they are very smart people. And that is one thing that I will give someone like Skip Bayless. Was a reporter for a lot of years, and he covered a lot of teams for a lot of years. Stephen A. Smith, I'm still not going to give him any respect. I don't care what he's ever said or done in his entire life. Get some real grain and color your hair, chief. But like you have people that are broadcasters, reporters, people that it's their job to challenge people. If you don't do that, then people can get away with anything ever, just outside of sports.
Right.
And so it's important to have that checks and balance piece. So to say that only players can comment on sports is just ludicrous. Because I don't have to play in the NFL to know the rules and know the capabilities, the talents that people have, and what goes on. I don't need to actually play in the NFL to understand it. Now, you're going to have a viewpoint that I'll never have because you were in the locker room, you were in the huddles, and, people like that have done stuff like that. So someone like Shannon Sharp can give input, that type of thing, in a way that other people can't. But to say that you can't comment on something just because you never did, I mean, come on. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Good old Draymond for you. Shaq, what is yours?
Mine was just more of a controversial opinion of what's up with that. Upset people in the sports world. The past of how we used to look at baseball in the realm of sports, of it being America's pastime of sports. I feel like, unfortunately, doesn't speak into his realm of sports. I feel like that has slowly but surely, baseball has kind of lost its effect on society and the realm of sports. I feel like football has slowly but surely moved into the realm of it being more of America's pastime, more of America's type of sport. And baseball has, unfortunately, I feel like, slid into the fourth slot, if you want to kind of say.
Fourth?
Of the fourth?
Fourth?
Fourth, I still feel like if you want to, in any order you want to, I still put in those middle two slots, I will still put football, unfortunately, number one. And then if you want to put the hockey realm and the basketball realm, and then the baseball in that fourth slot of sports, I would like to.
I'm assuming you mean basketball and then hockey.
Yes.
And then I think it goes NFL, NBA, MLB, and then NHL. But
I mean, just look at not to judge, not to say that Florida is the baseline for things, but look at Florida on a whole, where we rank our sports, not necessarily
Yeah,
our
don't
sports, but
don't.
like basically.
I
Yeah, but I'm
wouldn't.
just still saying that.
I wouldn't use the
All right,
city.
so I'm done with my calisthenics, gentlemen. Sorry, I had to get warmed up here. Shaq.
Yes.
First of all, football became more popular like 25 years ago. Okay, so you're a little late to the party. I apologize. Basketball is become more popular because it's more of a global game now. But for the most part, the reason why baseball is less popular than what it was before, two reasons. One, it lost the trust people when when they had the lockout in '93. Then you had the whole steroid era. After that, like people kind of lost trust in baseball a little bit. Second of all, we're in a immediacy generation. We need things more fast paced. Need, if I want to answer something, I don't need to open up a book. I just Google it on my phone. If I want to, like if I want to watch a show, I just stream it. Like nobody wants to watch one episode of a show, then wait a whole other week for another episode. They want to watch it all in like 48 hours. So we no longer have the ability to really sit and watch baseball the way that we used to. Baseball is a beautiful game. Problem with baseball is it's a slower game. It's more situational. Now, football is more fast-paced than baseball, but football is also very situational. Where it's like 2nd and 10, 3rd and 4, what's going to happen kind of a deal. Baseball has way too many unwritten rules that slow up the game. Pitchers can take as long as they fucking want, even though they got a pitch count now. It's very slow. So these generations of kids where they can get everything at their fingertips and anything that they ever want whenever they want it, like they feel like they don't want to waste their time on it. But if they actually like stopped and watched it, baseball is an amazing sport. And it's actually one of those few sports that youth can get involved in, and it doesn't really cost you a whole lot of money. And a lot of people can play it. So I think that those are the two reasons why baseball is falling back. They're trying to do a few things to try to speed up the game a little bit. But don't you dare say that hockey is more popular than baseball. Sir, nobody even knows what's happening in hockey. Want to know why they don't know what's happening in hockey? Like,
don't you tell Tampa fans that?
The announcers don't even know what's happening in hockey. Like, if you ever heard the announcers talking about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, Andrew Chuck is so and so, and he spent his weekends over there cutting wood and all." They're like, "Oh my God, they scored!" Like he doesn't. Like no one even knows what the fuck is happening half the time. So don't come at me with hockey is better than baseball. I don't even think that basketball is better than baseball, but I'm an old man, and I'm a purist. And I think that the lack of defense is kind of ruining the game, and they've done that because the NBA is trying to speed up the game. Back in the 90s, the NBA was a lot slower of a game because defense was actually allowed to play defense. So, I mean, come on, Shaq. Also, I'd like to point out that Shaq can sit back in the seat or he can stay lean in towards his phone there, and the forehead is the same size. So, but I digress. Go ahead, Shaq.
I just like to say my opinion of, like you said before, unfortunately, with the generation coming to watching sports, they unfortunately don't have the time to sit and watch a game of baseball that takes hours upon hours to probably go 9 innings of baseball to go watch. They want to watch their 3/4 of hockey or 4/4 of basketball or football that you can sit down and they have the attention span to necessarily get through the game. So unfortunately,
you put the nail on the head with the attention span, though, because here's the thing: if you love a sport, right, and you love a team, aren't you a little bit sad when a football game is over and your Steelers are done playing or the Patriots are done playing? You're like, damn, man, like we're done for the week. Like baseball, game that's played in 3.5 to 4 hours. So you're talking about 60 more minutes a game. And 162 of them to wait a full week. Watching I was just watching the Mariners play today, middle of the day on a Wednesday. I talk about high pressure situation, like be down by a run with a runner on second with 2 outs and a 3-2 pitch. High pressure situations that put people on the edge of their seats. But the problem is that people think in their minds that, oh, I'll watch 3 hours of football, but God, I can't watch 4 hours of baseball. It's all about the attention span. I don't think it's about the quality of the game or the sport.
Yeah, it's always but then again, we are sports people where I would not mind watching 5 quarters of my Steelers going to double overtime. 5, 6 quarters of the Steelers if I had to do it. Wouldn't care. Would absolutely do it. Win or lose, a good game, I will watch as many quarters, as many minutes as you ask me to watch because I enjoy watching my team play. And with football, you only get that one time a week to sit there and watch your team do what they need to do. But like I said, you get this generation of people, but unfortunately, they will be dictating how the sports world works from here on out in the world. So,
also say this, that you've lived in Tampa, your whole life?
a good portion of my life, yes.
Hard to tell because you're a Steelers fan and a Heat fan, so you don't. Are weird. But I would assume that the only team that you really ever had would be the Rays, right?
Baseball wise, yes.
Yeah. So have you ever been to a baseball game at Rays Stadium?
I have.
Okay, so if that was the only experience I ever had going to a baseball game, I would hate baseball too. That's not real baseball. The electricity in the stadium, the experience, the atmosphere, none of that. Like, that is not a major league level experience or atmosphere, and I kind of feel like you've been wronged on that. In fact, you can't go anywhere in Florida because you can't even go down to Miami to the Marlins Stadium and get that experience either. I think the closest you could get to is if you went to Atlanta. You went to an Atlanta Braves game, you would probably get a better idea of how cool baseball is just because of the level of fans and the experience and like how much they love it. But I can kind of understand a little bit being in Florida. How you don't like baseball because there's not really a whole lot to really get excited about. But baseball is a beautiful sport, people.
Baseball is similar to me, similar to golf as far as like just kick back and relax and just chill and watch it. As like you were saying though, when you can watch a game that's on the middle of a Wednesday afternoon, it just doesn't have the same effect. Like the scarcity of the NFL is one of the biggest like selling points of it when your team is on once a week and that's it. So you everybody gather around for that one time a week. Basketball is, your team plays once every 2 or 3 nights during the regular season, so and they're trying to cut back on that now to less games to make it more of a exclusive thing. But to me, just the biggest thing with baseball is just too much of it for me to like really focus on right now. But like if I do sit down and watch a game, it is enjoyable to watch. It's slower paced, but that doesn't really bother me. It's just the quantity is just feels like it's too much to me.
Man, I just love sports. And so I can sit down and watch a game. I'll put on a baseball game over any other television show. Just because I just love the competition. But I do have one more. What's up with that though, Jalen? If I may, before we get into this game show thing you want to do, we have to go back to Draymond Green for a second.
Oh boy,
because Draymond Green, in an interview, on his podcast, said that if Kevin Durant was not on the Warriors, they would not have won those 2 championships they won when KD was with the Warriors. And he went on to say that he didn't think at that time that Steph Curry had like kind of that killer mentality, shoot the ball as many times as you need to, score as many points as you need to, like Kevin Durant did during those two finals. Two things with that. There's two things to unpack with it. First of all, you just won an NBA title. So why are you throwing shade at the best player on your team? It doesn't make sense to me. The man was a 2-time MVP during that time. You like really like what does that prove? Okay. Second, ever since LeBron James left Cleveland to go to LA, has it not seemed like Draymond Green and LeBron James have some kind of love affair with each other?
From two
And
people that seem to
Draymond
hate
Green,
each other to that.
they hated each other in the finals. Then all of a sudden, they became partners in like business ventures or whatever. And Draymond Green just can't get off LeBron James nuts. I don't know what it is, but basically what Draymond Green is saying, and Nick Wright was talking about this on FS1, is that if Kevin Durant did not go to Golden State, then LeBron James would have as many titles as Michael Jordan. That's what he's saying. And they wouldn't have beat him. LeBron James would have won those two. LeBron James would have had a three-peat of his own, have had 6 titles. Like, first of all, two things with that. One, LeBron, like, Draymond, like, shut up, man. Like, Steph is a top 10 player in the NBA. Don't disrespect him by saying that you wouldn't have won another title or one of those 2 titles if Durant wasn't on the team. Second of all, just kind of make me think, though, if LeBron James had a three-peat with the Cavs, won 6 titles, and then won one with the Lakers, 1-2 in Miami. It brings up the whole Jordan-LeBron debate to me of like, what if? Like, I don't think that you could put LeBron James in the category of Michael Jordan simply because of like the rings and how dominant Jordan was. But man, if LeBron had a three-peat, LeBron had a three with Cleveland, I don't
easily surpass.
I don't know that it would easily surpass, but I don't think that the people that love Jordan as much as they do, I don't think they would be able to as easily dismiss LeBron James.
They would find some other reason, but I think that LeBron would have surpassed, unfortunately, the Michael Jordan status quo overall. And like, it'll be hard to see what foot they have left to stand on with LeBron going a three-piece, and then assuming that he wins the rings elsewhere with Miami and the Lakers. Because who knows? Maybe he stays in Cleveland because things are going well in Cleveland for him. He never does go to anywhere else.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Did Kyrie leave after they won the title or the year after they lost in the finals to Kevin Durant?
Yeah, the year after they lost.
The year after. So, I mean, if they won that one, does Kyrie even leave Cleveland?
Right. I feel like
seems
like he still would, because his issue was being under the shadow of LeBron.
I still think he'd be able to shot LeBron now, even with being on a different team.
You went back-to-back NBA Finals. Are you really leaving? I mean, the only reason why Shaq and Kobe couldn't coexist anymore was because they lost to Detroit.
Right.
If they'd have won that 4th title in a row, do you really think they would have had that offseason where Shaq ended up in Miami? Like, winning takes care of a lot of issues. It's the moment you don't win that people are like, nah, man, fuck you. It's like...
Yeah. For most instances, I would say yeah, but Kyrie's kind of a weird one.
It's just another reason why I hate Russell Westbrook. Because if Russell Westbrook was a good teammate, then maybe Kevin Durant never leaves. And then maybe we could have this argument in real life. So, fuck you, Westbrook. That's my second what's up with that. Oh, I turned it all around. Circle.
On to our last topic of the week. So we are going to play a little game here. So this is going to be between Malin and Shaq as the contestants. So
right.
The way this is going to work,
Oh, that hurt.
people at home are going to have a graphic on the screen here, but it's essentially just like the Who's That Pokemon graphic, except instead of a Pokemon, it's a quarterback silhouette that's going to be blacked out for you guys. And then
we don't even get to see the silhouette?
No, you guys won't be able to see it, unfortunately.
I'm about to run inside and look at it because I know my mom's watching the show inside.
I think I might be able to put it in the Discord.
No, probably not. All right, let's go.
All right, so I'm going to put this graphic up on the screen, and then I'm going to read out two different stats of this player, and then Malin and Shaq are going to write down who they think it is, and they're going to hold it up to the camera.
Well, we're going to do it like you're going to call on us to hold it up, though, right? Like, it's not just going to be like a first-come person.
Right.
It's like Jeopardy. Right. Okay.
Wait, hold on. I didn't even think about that. I mean, you guys, like, as soon as you have it, you can just put it up. I guess it won't.
Well, no, because I could write it up and put it up there, and Shaq would be like, yeah, that's a good answer, and write it down, too. So you got to give us a few seconds to write it.
Too.
So you got to have us write it down, and then say, what do you guys think if we both put it up at the same time?
Okay.
I want Shaq cheating.
I gotcha.
Shaq, why are you off camera, man? Center yourself.
I'm literally right here. I've been in the same angles that y'all been seeing me the whole entire show.
Not really. I only saw half your head and that's saying something. Yeah.
All right, here we go. First quarterback. Okay, first quarterback here. He was second in total quarterback rushing yards with 767, but he only scored 2 rushing touchdowns last year. I'll say that again. He was second in total quarterback rushing yards with 767, but he only scored 2 rushing touchdowns last year.
Shit. How long do I have to think of this? God damn.
I'll give you guys a minute.
700 something rushing yards, but only 2 touchdowns. You were a quarterback. And this is Shaq has an idea who it is. I don't. Shaq's writing shit down. At least he's looking like he's writing shit down. He might just be
he's doing some math.
Writing like things. Yeah. Might be doing some kind of equation here. God. I actually don't know who this is. I'm probably going to be wrong. But I got an answer.
Let's both have an answer.
God, I'm about to look like a fucking idiot. Thank you, Jalen.
All right. I'm going to put it up. Or you guys can go ahead and hold it up, and I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay, ready? Go ahead. Wait. Up, there we go.
Oh, okay.
I said the same person.
That's both
God damn it.
Josh Allen.
That's not who it is, though. Who is it, Jalen?
It is Lamar Jackson.
I thought he was number 1, man.
I thought
he missed, but he missed like 5 weeks. God damn it!
Right.
Son of a.
So Jalen Hurts actually led the NFL in quarterback rushing yards. He was number 2.
It's funny how me and Malin both get Josh Allen for that.
All right. Next time we see Jalen Shaq, we're both gonna punch him on the side of the head at the same time. We're putting him through this shit. All right, who's number 2?
I do not have Shaq's head. That will actually hurt. You understand that?
I would just like to point out that Shaq did not write "Who is." So if it was Josh Allen, I would have won because we're playing by Jeopardy rules.
All right.
All right, number 2.
Second person here. All right.
Who's that
number
quarterback?
2, he was third in completion percentage with 68.9%, but he did not win a single playoff game. Again, he was third in completion percentage at 68.9%, but he did not win a single playoff game. And yes, he did make the playoffs. It's not a trick question.
We're wrong on this one too. But
I remember.
all right, ready? You ready, Shaq?
I am ready now.
There's someone that I'm thinking about that actually went. That's gonna piss me off if it's not this person. You ready?
I just can't remember.
All right, let's go.
Your boy Matt Jones.
2 very interesting answers. The reveal, it is indeed Aaron Rodgers.
People.
That was a pretty good guess on Shaq's part. I didn't even think about that, but
only because you're a Patriots fan. Shut up, Matt Jones.
All right, so
How
Mail's
many
got
of these
1.
we got 6 of them.
Right. All right, we're about to move to number 3 here. All right, third person.
Who's that quarterback?
He only played in 13 games, but still had the 7th highest completion percentage in 2021 at 67.8%. Again, he only played in 13 games, but he still had the 7th highest completion percentage, 67.8%.
I wrote my answer down, but I think I'm wrong.
I just can't remember how many games he missed due to.
I think this person only missed 3 games, but goddamn, you ready? You ready, Shaq?
Yes.
Damn, we picked the same fucking person.
No.
Picked the same person. I think Wilson only missed 3 games.
It was Tua.
Fuck Tua. Damn it. The moment I wrote my answer down, I was like, bitch only missed 3 games. I was like, God. Moment I wrote it down, I was like, yep, that was the 17-game season. That's cool.
All right, on to number 4. So for number 4,
Who's
he
that
was
quarterback?
second in total passing yards with 5,014, and third in total amount of first downs thrown with 256. Who is that quarterback? He was second.
The fact that you're putting out first downs, you're an asshole. I got an answer.
Oh, you guys both already have one? G Money says
I have
Malin
mine,
and Shaq
yeah.
are brothers from different mothers.
One
We'll
got
argue the
forehead,
most.
dude. Here we go. Ready?
Malin going with Josh Allen, Shaq going with Joe Burrow. And it is Justin Herbert.
Making me angry.
The first down stat went Brady, Mahomes, and then Herbert. All right.
Downs. It's just...
Number 5. Shaq could really use one here. All right. He completed the most passes over 40 yards with 18, and he has won the NFC Championship once. Again, he completed the most passes over 40 yards with 18, and he has won the NFC Championship game once.
Got it. This is a win right here.
Shaq needs this to stay alive.
This is a win. Need me to miss this one, Shaq. Shaq is writing a fucking novel. All right, ready? Prescott's never won the NFC Championship game. Dumb motherfucker.
All right.
The correct answer is. But it's Matt Stafford.
Yeah, shit.
At least the person I picked won an NFC Championship game. Yours has never been to it. Jesus.
G Money says, "Do you guys even watch football?"
G Money doesn't even know his fucking names.
Next time we do this topic, G Money coming on the show.
Fucking ridiculous. You're giving the most obscure goddamn stats, and you're showing silhouettes to people that I don't get to see. Which would not be fair. If Shaq was actually sitting next to you,
right.
I would call all kinds of shit.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to be here, so.
I fully expected this man to use some sort of silhouette joke about my forehead, and that's about it.
I did not do it. I didn't. No, I was saying that you would be able to see the silhouettes. Jesus, Shaq. All right, last one. Here we go.
Last one. Number 6. He had the fourth highest QBR at 103.1, and he did not make the playoffs. Again, he had the fourth highest QBR at 103.1, and he did not make the playoffs.
Oh, Shaq, I already wrote mine down.
I can't agree. Y'all know what I'm going for.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Goddamn. Russell Wilson. All right. You did write Russell Wilson, though, right?
Yeah. I misspelled it, and I crossed out Wilson, and then I just wrote Russell and just called it that.
The correct answer is Kirk Cousins.
Okay, Captain Kirk. Is that what we?
Still won. Jesus
picking the most
Christ,
Just picking the most obscure quarterbacks for this game. Captain Kirk is like, all right. Shit about Captain Kirk. Lackluster dynasty.
Still got one. Jesus.
Malin did come away with a win.
Man, I was mad the moment you said this is what we were going to do. I knew you were going to have some bullshit stats, but I didn't know that you were going to be like, who had the most first down throws? What the fuck?
It's going deep in the stat book.
Most steps from the locker room to the field last season. I was like, all right.
Like, who outside of Peyton Manning yelled at Omaha in an audible in his career?
As far as QBR goes, the first 3 went Rodgers, Burrow, and then Dak Prescott was the third highest. Really odd.
Hey, but Shaq does get the award for worst answer, though, because Dak Prescott's never been to a Super Bowl. Okay. He's never even been to the title game.
I had one bad answer. Me and Miller had like 3 tight answers, 50% on half of our 50% of our answers.
We did.
And I got horrible answers.
The fact that they said won the NFC Championship one time, and you put Dak. Cowboys have not been to the Super Bowl since '95, my man.
I will headbutt the shit out of all y'all. This game is unfair and rigged.
Put Dak Prescott.
none of y'all survived that headbutt too. So
No, that's a death
Not
sentence.
at all. That would crush the shit out of me. Yeah. Well, that was humbling. Thank you, Jalen.
Next week, when you guys can come up with a game.
Oh, yes, sir. I can come up with a game. This would be great.
Well, all right, folks. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap this thing up?
Can't wait for football season. It'll be a whole hot mess.
Next week, we'll also start our record predictions for each division. As soon as we hit July.
Okay. All right.
Just don't start my division. That's all I ask for.
All right.
We'd just like to point out again that Jack wrote down Dak Prescott winning an NFC Championship game.
I thought that y'all took any sort of seriousness as I come on here with an Antonio Brown Steelers jersey.
That ain't exactly that funny. And you know what, Shaq? You need to tell TSA to stop fucking with you and let you out of that room, because that's just disrespectful. You probably already missed your flight. But I would just like to add that my Washington Huskies have the number 17 draft class. College football, people. Forget college football. And you want to know who's you know who has the 28th draft class? Alabama.
Really?
You know who has the 35th draft class? Oregon. Number 1 is Texas A&M, and number 2 is Texas.
Yep.
'Cause they got that oil money with that NIL deal, buying everybody.
It's gonna be real interesting come August.
So next week we're starting the divisions, huh?
Yes, you guys are a preference for
right.
where we should start?
Oh, I don't care. Might as well start in the AFC.
All right.
I would like to, maybe if we could make it happen, whatever segment we do that on, try to get G Money on here for that segment so you can pick him with us. I think G Money
good to me.
We beat our ass in all those predictions.
Yes, then we'll have a ultimate big board come start of the season with a bunch of predictions. So I'm all for it.
All right.
Folks.
Well, Jim, good show. Good show.
Yes.
I feel like an idiot when it comes to quarterbacks, but at the same time, I don't think I needed to commit to memory who had the most first down throws, but that's
Probably
cool.
not.
Jesus.
All right, folks. We will talk to you all next Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you there. Have a good week.